Okay, so the haves and the have-nots. Let me think about where we started off. I'm trying to remember where we started off. Okay. Forgive me, I can't remember exactly where the show started off. But let me just try to put everything together and make sure that I cover everything, whether or not it is in order. Okay, so Jim comes to the jail to find out what happened with Wyatt. And they tell him, well, Rico was stabbed and he's in the infirmary and such was put in there. He is a murderer, all this stuff. You know, they probably are afraid that they're going to be in some big trouble, and they should be in some big trouble. So when he says, what happened to my son, he says, well, he was beaten and sexually assaulted. Jim goes off, slugs the one guard, and he wants answers. You were supposed to take care of my son. You were supposed to watch out for him. You weren't supposed to let this happen to him. He's very angry. And so then Jim goes to the wall, rips down the security camera, and just goes crazy on the guard that was on duty. He says, I'm gonna have all your information. I'm gonna know where you live, what your family's names are, how much money you make, and if you have spent one dime more than you were supposed to have spent at any time, I'm gonna find out about it, and I will kill you in front of your family. So Jim was not even playing around here. So he goes to see Wyatt in his cell, and apparently he was not ready to take Wyatt home yet, despite what happened to him. Wyatt's crying, he's visibly shaken, he's not faking this. Yet Jim doesn't seem ready to take him home, but the next time we see them, he has Wyatt in the car and he's like, are you alright? Which was a stupid question considering what happened to him. And Jim knows what happened to him. And Wyatt he doesn't have anything to say. He's just, broken. Now, on to Hannah and her situation with her grandson. So she's at the hospital, the social services, or the child welfare, whatever you want to say. She's there and she tells Candace, well, you are going to have to go on home. You can't see your son. Not until we verify all this information about your job, your place, everything. And so she wants to know where Candace works, and Candace can't give her any information because Candace does not have the job that she says she has. And Oscar intervenes and says, well, she can get this information to you later. CPS is like, well, we need this information now, because the longer you delay, the better chance you have of this child ending up in foster care. So they sort of leave it there. Candace says, well, I'll get you the information about my house when I close on it, so you can come visit the house and make sure it's suitable for the kid to live in. But she can't get out of that issue with the job. So CPS talks to Hannah, and one thing I noticed is the CPS worker, her name is DeLong. Hannah was calling her DeLong. Now, on In the Heat of the Night, there was the character played by Denise Nicholas, Harriet DeLong, and when Hannah was saying DeLong, I was getting flashbacks of when Crystal Fox played Luann on In the Heat of the Night and would be talking to Harriet DeLong, and I said, that's quite a flashback there. I immediately thought of that, but anyway, that was just a little side thing I wanted to talk about. And so CPS tells her, well, you need to go home. You can't see the child, and I don't think you're going to get custody. And obviously Hannah's going to be upset about that. She wants to have that child in her care. She thinks that she is best for him. And I get where she's coming from, but I don't really agree with her running Candace down like she is. And I don't know if that really helps her chances. That kind of demonstrates sort of dysfunction within the family. The grandmother wanting to keep the kid away from the mother, and just running the mother down to social services or CPS, and not seemingly caring about doing that. And so she won't let her see the kid, but eventually she says, well, I can lose my job for this. But yeah, go see me. So she lets Hannah go see Quincy, in spite of potentially losing her job. Okay, now I remember where we started off with the episode. We started off with Maggie and David. So they're at the tow yard, and David is all like, well, what do you know about the car? He's trying to figure that out. Maggie knows nothing, so he really sort of just turned that off from where he left it off last week, because he doesn't want to dig into that. And she's saying, David, you needed to know. I wanted you to see for yourself. And David looked like he was on the verge of tears. He's like, please, 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 I can't take one more something. I can't take it anymore. So Maggie chickens out of telling him the truth, and she takes him, away from there. Because she drove, so she takes him away from there, and she drops that once again. Now, what happened with Veronica? I don't think we see Veronica anymore until she has a scene with David. So when David and Veronica finally meet up, they are they have some words, because David left her a message, and he told her just point blank, and he's not playing with her children's shoulder, you need to get your A over here, and blah blah blah. Very, very blunt, aggressive, sort of crass message to leave on somebody's voicemail. But that is what David did. So Veronica, she comes over there, and she's not yelling or anything. She's practically talking in a whisper. She's like, David, I don't appreciate that message you left me. And so he wants some answers from her. And he asked her what were you doing at the tow yard? And she was saying, I was having sex with the owner. And David doesn't believe it. He thinks she's just bluffing to try to hurt him, but she's not. And David is still so blind to what Veronica really is. It is stupid. And what made him more stupid is he stands there and he details everything she has done. You sent a murderer after our son and told the murderer to beat him. You burned down our house with me in it and tried to kill me, and now you sent a convicted rapist and murderer into the jail to attack our friend's son. You are out of control. You need to get some help. And she just is just like not fazed by anything David's saying. She's like, I don't care. And she reiterates that she was having sex with the tow truck company owner, and talking about it was good and all that. And David still thinks she's just playing him, trying to hurt him, but David needs to wake up. I mean, if she would do something as extreme as have somebody come after their son to beat him intentionally, and have some girl get pregnant by him on purpose and to try to trap him into a marriage, then an affair is not out of the question, because that is way down low on the fuss charts. Okay. So and Jim, David has already told Jim that that he knows the name of who sent that murderer in there to attack Wyatt. Jim wants the name. David's like, I'll get you the name. I'll get you the name. He's still trying to protect Veronica. And of course, Jim, he's going to find out on his own. If David doesn't tell him, he'll find out on his own, because he's got some connections of his own. And he wanted to know how David knew that was going to happen. But David's not saying a word about how he knew that. So let's see what else happened. Okay. So Candace is at her new house. She's closed the deal. And the woman says, okay, well, when your check clears and such, all that. Uh, Oscar is there, and he's still playing the caring guy. Still think he's up to something, but we will see, since there are like a few episodes left of season finale. So hopefully we find out what Oscar's up to soon. So she says, you can go. I've got my brother coming over here to help me out, and he's great, and we'll look out for me and all that. And she says Oscar can go, but she seems to be letting that guard down quite a bit. And I'm saying, don't do that, because you won't get in some trouble, because Oscar is not on the up and up. Remember David said he had a plan to neutralize Candace? I think that Oscar is part of that plan, but we'll see. So Benny arrives at the house, and he's looking around saying, oh, this is nice, and still he wants to know how she's paying for all this. And of course Candace is going to stonewall and say, oh, I got good credit, and I was able to purchase both these. I was able to purchase this because it was in foreclosure, she says that after she takes Benny to his house, and she tells Benny, this is your house, and he's like, stop it. He don't believe that she actually bought 2 houses and gave one to him. And he's skeptical. He's saying, how did you do all this? And she's saying, well, they were in foreclosure, so I bought both of them. I'll only charge you $800 a month rent for this. Can't beat that for a big house like this. For like that, the one that Candace bought, Benny. So Benny brings up the subject of Hannah. He's like, Mama's gonna love this room. And Candace is like, she's not gonna move in here. She's gonna have 1,000 questions about how you got this house, and she's right about Hannah. Hannah's gonna ask a whole bunch of questions about how Benny got that house, and it just not would turn out well. And Candace does not want Hannah living that close to her anyway, because the houses are fairly close together, and just not. Candace just is not having that. But she tells Benny, Mama's not going to move in here with you. And Candace is right. But Benny's saying, I'm not going to leave her in the hood. Of course, Benny is the noble son. He said, the warrior. Going to stand by his mama no matter what. So he's not going to leave her in the hood, but it may be her choice to stay in the hood. Lots of people make the choice to stay in the hood. You got to be real about that. And so Benny, he seems to be the skeptic, but and I think there's going to be more skepticism, because at the end of the episode, toward the end of the episode, Child Welfare CPS talks to Hannah, and she tells her, well, we checked up on her at Morris, Benham and Rackham, I think the law firm name is. I cannot remember. I apologize for that. And she says, and they don't know who she is. So Candace is in trouble about that. Is she, CPS is going to frown upon that, and I feel that perhaps maybe when we get to the end of the season, the cliffhanger may be that Lil Quincy ends up in foster care because of all this mess. Now let's see what else happened. Okay, so Hannah comes into work, and she talks to Catherine a bit, and she says, I found my grandson, and but my daughter's going to get custody of him, and Catherine wants to know the judge's name, and she says, well, I'll handle it. I will stick it to Candace. And Hannah's like, well, wait a minute, that's still my child. And Catherine's like, I know that's your child. But I'm still going to do what I can to help you out and get this child. And Hannah's insistent, this is my child. I know she's done some evil things, but still, that's my child. And I don't know what direction Catherine's going to take, but I don't know if she'll ease up on Candace because she's Hannah's daughter, but still do a little something to help Hannah, because Hannah's her friend, helped her through some tough times, the cancer, and helped her a little bit after Amanda's death, all that. So there's a certain loyalty there, but It's kind of a rock and a hard place to help somebody get custody of their grandson and stick it to their child. That's a rock and a hard place. So I don't know exactly what Catherine's going to do. So Jim brings Wyatt home, and Catherine is pleased that Wyatt is home. And of course, Jim doesn't tell her nothing about the mess that happened with Wyatt in the prison. Jim got his little crying out before he left the prison, and so Jim does have somewhat of a soul because he was upset about what happened to Wyatt. So Wyatt goes upstairs. He starts packing a bag. He wants out of there. And who does he call? His old good buddy, Jeffrey. Jeffrey thinks that Wyatt is drunk. Well, I don't want to be involved with you when you're drunk. And, no, man, just come pick me up. Come pick me up. Wyatt wants out of there. So Jeffrey comes over there to pick him up, and Wyatt runs up and hugs him. And Jeffrey's kind of like, well, what is this? This don't... He's like, you can see his face. It's like, this don't seem right. Because Jeffrey, he seems to be kind of waking up a little bit. Because early in the episode, he told his father that, well, you need to shut Mom down. A friend of mine told me I need to shut Mom down, and that's what you need to do too. And so Jeffrey's going to help Wyatt out. Wyatt just wants to get away from that house, and of course, Jeffrey's going to oblige because, above all else, they are friends. So Jeffrey will help him out. And so, I don't want to leave anything out because this was a good episode. I think the last part is when, so Jim is ready to do his interview with Diana Winchell. And she says, hello, all you windshield washers, which sounded like window washers. Oh, okay. That was funny. I guess it's supposed to be sort of a little bit of humor in such a dramatic show. It was a little bit funny. So she kicks off the interview with the standard question. Are you running for governor? How do you think you're qualified to run this state? Jim goes through the standard political banter. I can manage a budget, blah, blah, blah. I know I've been through tragedy. I can handle all that sort of stuff, so I'm qualified. And so the anchor, she starts digging deeper, like, okay, so how are you going to deal with your children? And Jim's like, we only have one surviving child, Wyatt. Still, she insists, how are you going to deal with your children? And so she gets her little cards out and she says, well, we have information here that says you are a father to 2 other children. And I was definitely not expecting this one. This part just threw me for a loop. So, the reporter says, joining us from a low-income neighborhood. That part made me laugh. Of like a low-income neighborhood. Is the mother of Jim Cryer's other children. And up on the screen pops Celine. And I knew that Celine, in the last episode, when Jim sort of just wanted nothing to do with her, and David told her, go away, it's over, he fired you, beat it, scram, scram. I knew she was pissed. And I didn't know exactly what she was going to do, but I did not expect her to pop up in this episode and ready to just blow Jim out of the water on live television. So that's how the episode ends. And one thing I did forget is that Veronica before the press conference starts, she just decides to show up with Maggie, and she's like, get back, bitch. And Catherine's like, Veronica. And Veronica's all, what? You know I don't like her? And Catherine wants to know why. Veronica's like, I'll tell you later. And Maggie doesn't move. She's like, I've had enough of you. Maggie's trying to jump bad, stand her ground against Veronica. And so Veronica just pushes her, and Maggie's ready to get out the way. Then goes, Veronica's getting a little violent. But my prediction for the end of the season is there's going to be a cliffhanger. Who shot Veronica? Veronica slighted all these characters, and when I think the truths are going to come out about her, there's going to be everybody after Veronica. You can't really name a character on the show that Veronica has not slighted, excuse me. So you can go through all the Young family, all the Pryor family, Jeffrey, David, and you go on to Maggie and Quincy, and just almost everybody in the cast has a reason to shoot her, and I think that's how this cliffhanger is going to shape up. I may be wrong, but if I'm right, I will take my accolades very gladly. So next week looks like it's going to be real good. Landon is back. Veronica's like calling him a girl, saying to Jeffrey, "You're going to let this girl talk to me like this?" The CPS worker is asking Candace if she's an escort, saying, "I don't judge you, but if you're an escort." So it's going to be really good, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And I thank you for watching my review once again. If you like it, please subscribe and rate and comment if you feel like you want to. Thanks for joining me for the Haves and the Have-Nots review, and I will see you next week. Deuces.